Well, hey guys, it's Steve here. You're tuned in to Abandoned Car Revivals. Today we're working on this 1958 GMC Pickup. I tried to drive this truck home the other day, mainly just to save time and not haul out the trailer, and sure enough, the old manual steering box locked up on me. All the recirculating balls had come out of their rail that had split open, and it was chewing it up, and basically I got stuck in a roundabout with traffic everywhere, and it was pretty sketchy. And then I went and got the trailer. So long story short, we are upgrading this to a power steering setup, just factory replacement style from Classic Performance Products. This here is a CP50006C. Well, that's the one that's showing. I mean, it looks like the one I got anyways. So there's a few little differences. They got all the instructions here. Basically, the first step, I'm going to show you as much of this process as I can. The shaft here is larger, so we're going to get in here. I've already kind of marked it. You can see the original hole was here. Somebody's already gone to town with a torch, I think, to relocate this steering box a little bit, because they've got a engine out of an Oldsmobile in here, a V8, and I'm sure it was for clearance reasons with the exhaust manifold, which I had to remove to get the old one off, which, as you can see, comes off with the shaft, column, everything all has to come out, and we're gonna have to cut that and reuse that stuff. We're gonna use the same column. So yeah, first step here, we're gonna get the old zing die grinder out, just clean that up, make that hole a little bigger so it fits, and we'll bolt her in there. We're gonna make up a steel plate, I think, to weld in here and cover all this up and strengthen it once we're all done and it's tested and it works. So yeah, we're gonna have to get rid of this pitman arm. It comes with a new one, a little beefier. Give you guys a quick look at the truck before I get started. She's got a fair bit of Bondo. You know, modern seats from something else that are in pretty rough shape. I mean, they're doing the thing. Interior, I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, more Bondo in the back. Tires are dry rotted and old. Got some funky round tail lights on it. Kind of, they're from a trailer, but it looks sort of Corvette-ish, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, same story on this side. Lots and lots of Bondo. I think it's gonna get a whole new front clip eventually, and yeah, we're just in the early phases on this truck. It is a buddy of mine's truck. We just want to get it roadworthy so we can get out, drive it around, have a little fun before he starts piling more and more money into it. I'm not exactly sure. I think it's an Oldsmobile 350 he figured out. Yeah, it's got some numbers and doodads down in there. 5577523B. That might mean something. Anyway, let's get to work. It's on there. Okay, so that's what we got right now. It's the shaft is resting on the edge there. I think I'm gonna have to move it forward a little bit to clear that manifold like they had it. And of course we'll have a big plate on here once we get our final location, because I mean they just had some goofy little washers on here. Where are those? Yeah, they had these little pieces of metal they'd made, sort of half-ass covering those holes. Where are these two? I don't know. Pretty janky in my opinion, but well, that's kind of in there. I'm gonna have to wrestle this exhaust manifold back on. Of course we got one broken bolt too, the one stud that couldn't get any lube on the back side of it, so yeah. I don't know, let's put you guys down here. You can watch me fight with this exhaust manifold. All right, can you guys see down there? Let's see if the sucker still fits. Yeah. Oh boy. Oh man. Doesn't seem to. It seems like that pump's got to come forward. So that sort of makes sense with how they had the holes adjusted. So now my gun exhaust is stuck. We'll leave it there, and we'll go try and shimmy that box ahead. I should just, you know what, I think the first step it said was disconnect battery. It's probably wise because I just about shorted something out here. Okay, so we got her, this would have been the stock location right here, and we got her shifted forward like they did, and I got one of the bolts tight here just to find our spot. And now we'll try again with this exhaust manifold, see if we can get that to fit. But first I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect that battery, because I just about shorted myself out on the starter wire down there. So give me a moment. Okay, here we go. Round two. Yeah. Ooh, it might actually fit now. Yeah. Hey, come back. Come back. Come back on there. Yeah, this might work. This might work. Yeah, let's see. Let's get you a look. So we're just touching there a little bit, but that's how the old one was. And we got our lines are gonna fit right there on top. I'm liking that. Let me go have a look underneath. Ah, no, not at me. Yeah. Ooh, I don't like that so much. I don't know if you guys can see that, but like this exhaust has to attach to that thing still. And it's like right there. Oof. Yeah. Yeah. We could almost move this box even farther ahead. What does that mean? That means where's my marker? Probably doing a little more trimming in here. Not sure about these bolts. I'll have to undo those, but okay. Well, let me do some more buzzing and cutting, and we'll catch up with you guys in a second. Okay. Well, the guys got updates. I've had this on and off 3 or 4 more times now. Just kept grinding until we had enough room. Now, underneath, there's just enough room to squeak that exhaust up in there. Get the flange in, probably more than there was before. So I think I'm confident in my positioning. I'm going to, yeah, I think just tighten up the bolts the way they are for now, and then we'll come back later and make up our plate and weld that in there once everything's all hooked up, exhaust back on, and we're sure that's where it's going. So I think next update here, we're going to be, I've got to pull that manifold back out, and it's got a broken bolt in the cylinder head and a broken bolt where the flange bolt's on. So I'm going to have to spend some time there with the welder and drill and grinder and easy outs and whatever, you name it. And once that's done, then we'll move ahead with the video. And you know, we got basically we got this rag joint here. Comes with the kit. This end's gonna go onto the box, and then we need to cut our steering shaft and column over there and grind the edges of the shaft to fit into here because it's got 2 flat edges on it. There's even a pin it comes with. You can drill and shove a pin in there too, which we will try and do. And then of course we got to rig up a power steering pump. There's one there that was in the truck that doesn't seem to fit. Okay, so we got our hoses and we're full of fluid. Belt's nice and tight, so this will be the first test here. Dad's gonna hold the camera. We'll see what happens.
Stand clear of a flying belt. Belt's a little loose. She's really fighting it.
Yeah.
Jumping around a bit.
Oh, gee, it came right loose.
Yeah.
It popped down here. Okay, well, maybe that's why that was happening, probably. So.
I wonder if this pump's any good.
It was, I think, brand new. It's low. It's almost empty, Dad.
Well, it was still wet when I pulled it out.
Okay, well, it sucked it up when I turned it, so I gotta
really work it. Oh yeah, gee.
Yeah. Okay, I'll tighten her back up and refill that. We'll try again.
was like, why is that thing
up there
sliding around like that?
Okay, well,
It works.
we'll see. We'll put it back on the ground and see if it works.
Well, I think it will probably work better when it's moving.
Well, yeah, I
Right?
know.
Definitely.
Give her a shot now. Oh, it's working. Well, it steers.
It works.
There we go. I did something right, I guess. Well, yeah, that manifold's smoking a bit because I got oil, or I penetrating oil all over it when I was getting that broken bolt out. But yeah, line could maybe be a touch tighter down there, but we're looking good. Yeah, I just gotta figure out how to add another little bracket in here, something or other to tighten this pump up with more than one bolt. Happy enough with that I think we'll move on to brakes. It still takes a few pumps, and I'm not sure if all this needs is a quick bleeding or what. I haven't even looked in here. Yeah, fluid in the back is a different color than the fluid in the front. That's a little weird, but it's got fluid. So yeah, I guess we'll I don't know what's going on with this thing. We'll move on to bleeding the brakes, and then well, maybe before I do that, I got to put the steering column all back together properly. That's gonna be fun, but we'll figure that out. I'm not going to film any of that because pieces are everywhere. I got to find them all and try and fix the wiring for the turn signals. Anyway, so to be continued. Well, it's been a week or so since we were working on the 58 GMC. Things have escalated a little bit. We took it for a little road test, and steering worked excellent. But as you can see by this gaping hole where there used to be a transmission, the transmission slipped really bad. So we got to change it. The truck had a TH350 in it. That one right there, out of a 1977 Oldsmobile. But what we have here is a Super Turbine 300 out of my yellow 68 Skylark parts car. These two transmissions are the same dimensionally. This one here would be a 2-speed, and the TH350, the 3, or probably just a 3-speed, I think. Anyway, there are a few little differences. Oops, like the torque converter here. This one out of the TH350 is a little larger. So You see here, there's two different bolt holes there. It'll bolt into that outer set of holes, and luckily this flex plate has the inner holes there as well, the slightly smaller circumference. So the smaller torque converter out of the Skylark with the TH300 will fit. So I'm gonna fire you guys on a time lapse while I slap this thing in here. It was a bit of a battle getting the other one out. Had to lift the cab up a couple inches here. The rear cab mounts are still in because I didn't want to pull the gas tank. So she's kind of flexing out here from the front. And yeah, hopefully with the smaller torque converter, this will go in a little easier. The issue I was having is this cross member is right in the way and the transmission wouldn't fit through that there hole between the cab and the cross member. So crossing my fingers, this goes in nice and smooth and quick. So let's see what happens. Alright guys, well, if you caught that, you see me struggling pretty hard trying to fit that Super Turbine 300 in there. And as it turns out, the torque converter I had did not fit the transmission. I even went as far as pulling the pump right off of it and playing around with it here on the floor. You know, I got the one off the old Turbo 350 here as well. The ST300's over there standing on end. It just would not go all the way in. I don't know if it's the difference in the shaft length here. You can see it's longer on the Super Turbine 300 than it is on the Turbo 350. So it appears I have a Turbo 350 or something or other torque converter, I guess. It is smaller than the one that came off of there, but it won't fit. Can't get another one, at least cheaply or readily available in time. So we picked up this Turbo 350 off of, well, TH Turbo 350, whatever, off Marketplace. 150 bucks. You know, it's clean. The fluid looks really good. It looks like it was well taken care of. You know, the seal looked new, came with the torque converter, so we're gonna slap her in there. Okay, she's in there. It's amazing how much nicer and faster things go when they're properly designed to fit. Our torque converter still spins. Looks like our holes are gonna line up. Awesome. So happy I can move along with this. So yeah, now I just gotta bolt up my torque converter, my lines, kick down cable, drive shaft, fluid, and we're going for another test drive, guys. That'll be up next. Hang in there. Well, this new transmission works great. Except for one problem. It only works great when you go in reverse. Yeah. So I hope you guys aren't getting tired of watching me swap transmissions, because you're gonna get to see me do it again. Yeah. I'll show you just how good this does work in reverse, and then we'll get right back to time lapsing. Now, I know you might be saying, you know, you don't got enough fluid in it, but it's well overfilled, trust me. And when I had it on the lift, it almost seemed like it wanted to go into reverse a little bit, even when it was in drive. I think it could be maybe some of them sprag bearings could be bad, but there was also some clutch material in the pan. As soon as I saw that, I should have just stopped and taken it back out, but I had to know. So anyway, instead of spending $150 on Marketplace, customer dropped $1,000 on this bad boy. So it's missing the kick down cable bit here, so we'll see if we can steal that off the other one once we get her up there and the pan back off. I had to swap the tail housing, it was missing from the original tranny, and the speedo gears and all that. But anyway, let's get right back to time lapsing. All right, guys, she's in there. She's all hooked up. We got, I don't know, 7 or so fresh quarts in there. I'm just gonna go fire it up, see how it feels, and check the levels. Run her through the gears. You guys tell me what happens. We'll see. That looked pretty good to me. I saw forward and I saw reverse, so we'll let her warm up a bit. We'll check our fluids. Maybe we'll set her right down, and we'll see if we get motion out of it. All right, guys, here we go. Big moment of truth. Put you right here. Maybe we'll drive right over you on the way out. Backwards. What a win. What a win. Do a little lap around the yard. We'll come back, check our fluid again. Guys, I couldn't be happier with that. Last thing I'm going to do to this truck before it goes back to the customer is get it in and change out the rear brakes and wheel cylinders, and I'll take you along for the test drive after that, and that'll be the end of this video. What the heck, who needs brakes? Let's test drive it now. I don't want to wait. I want to make sure this tranny's good. Better buckle up for safety here. All right, let's do this. She feels pretty good. Solid shifts there. I'm quite happy with that. I don't have the kickdown cable hooked up yet, so I don't want to drive it too much, but that gives me full confidence to move ahead with the brakes, fix that horrible exhaust leak, and then we'll take her for a longer run. And this power steering works great though. All right, we'll give her one more. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I am going to end this video here. I know it's probably getting a little long, a lot of, time lapse, but But if you've made it here, congratulations. And we'll see you on the next one, which is likely going to be a Pontiac. So hope you're excited and you hit subscribe, and we see you on the next one. Cheers.